Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Star Wars Stuff Podcast. My name is David.
And my name is James.
Craig 5 standing by.
That's great. I was hoping you were going to say that too. I was like, I really hope he says that when we start this thing.
I knew you would. I knew you were hoping that. I could tell.
But before we get started, we have some amazing people to thank. So take it away, David.
So, our awesome top tier Patreon supporters out there that give us all the love: Liam McCallan, Kevin Leininger, Deb McCaffrey, Zach Netzel, Matt Morris, Adam Haber, Front Row King, Cam from Indiana, Mariana Atia Arnold, Rush Jedi 27, Alex Blundell, and Indiana Solo. Thank you so much for all our awesome love and support out there. And check out legionsabers.com. Use the code STUFF at checkout for 15% off and get some cool sabers and stuff. And we do kind of apologize that we're running a little late here. We have some technical difficulties. I'm not going to say by who. But we are here. We're here to talk about Star Wars. As you can see in the title, we're going to talk about Andor's huge wins at the Emmys, at the technical awards. The main show is not going to air till Sunday. That's when we maybe see Forrest Whitaker, Alan Tudyk win, which I think we're all hoping for. And it does have that feel like Andor is going to get recognized more so than you would have seen in the beginning, because we all know this is the last season, last time these people are all going to be together. Andor is critically acclaimed, hailed as one of the best TV shows of all time, it feels like. So, yeah, let's talk about the Emmys and the past history, which is kind of surprising. It seems like they never won any Emmys in the past. So they have 4 wins in 4 separate categories. And James, you brought up the fact that they didn't win 2 specific Emmys you would think they'd be a shoo-in for.
More than a shoo-in for them. Should I say what they were? What I think? Do you have the graphic, right? You're going to bring it up?
Yeah, I'm going to bring that up here.
All right. So they did win in 4 categories, which were the ones you were expecting. But the ones they did not win in, which I'm like, what was... well, first off, I'll just say which ones they won in. Okay, we'll go with that. So they won in... Wow, that's a really small... I'll let you say it, David. It looks better on your screen.
Okay, so winner in the categories of outstanding production design for a narrative period or fantasy program for 1 hour or more. So Andor, Who Are You? That's the episode. And the people are behind it: Luke Hull, production designer; Toby Britton, supervising art director; and Rebecca Alway, set director. The other win is outstanding picture editing for drama series. Andor, Who Are You? Yan Miles, ACE editor. The other win is outstanding special visual effects in a season or a movie. Mohan Leo, visual effects supervisor; TJ Falls, visual effects producer; Luke Murphy, special effects supervisor; Neil Scanlon, special creature effects by Scott Pritchard, Island visual effects supervisor; Joseph Kasparian, hybrid visual effects supervisor; Sue Rowe, Scanline visual effects supervisor; Paolo Diarco, in-house VFX supervisor; and John Clement Saray, digital colorist. Also for outstanding fantasy sci-fi costumes for Harvest, that's Michael Wilkinson, costume designer; Cato Farrell, costume supervisor; Richard Davies, assistant costume designer; Paula Fajardo, assistant costume designer. And those are the 4 wins.
So Harvest, correct me if I'm wrong, that was the wedding, right? Whenever Mon Mothma's dancing around, pretty much, like that was that episode. It was almost like Andor, they were like, hey, we want to show off our costumes, so just dance around and look how beautiful it looks. And that sequence is amazing, by the way. That whole sequence of Mon Mothma dancing around and the costumes, I remember I was like, whoa, this looks really good. But here is my gripe with this. They lost sound mixing and sound editing, and the episode was Who Are You? Which some people are saying Who Are You is one of the best episodes, like up there with some of the Game of Thrones like top episodes.
For sure.
For me, that felt like a shoo-in. Sound mixing and sound editing was like insane. First off, that whole episode was. I know, Craig, you said that episode was just one of your favorite episodes of Andor, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it was incredible. I mean, the tension that built up in that episode was like, tell me when was the last time you've watched a TV episode and it felt that tense? Like you feel tense the whole time. You can feel the intensity of what's happening throughout. I mean, it was just unbelievable.
It was. What about you, David? Like during that whole episode, like we all knew it was about to happen. What was your like? How were you feeling watching that episode, David?
Yeah, I like that you said we all knew what was going to happen, but still there was that just edge of your seat anticipation that is built up by watching something where you don't know what's going to happen, and you're just there's like an anxiousness built into that as well. And it was incredible that they were able to pull that from us hardcore Star Wars fans, because we knew what was going to happen, but just how was it going to happen?
The way
Who was
that
gonna
it
shoot the
happened.
first shot. Yeah, and when the first blast was shot and the guy was shot, I think he was hanging off of like a tower or something. I was like, oh my God, that's the first, that's like the Franz Ferdinand shot that started the whole thing.
And it's also crazy because there's so many things happening as well in that episode. Like there's certain points of view throughout the entire square that you're in, and you're just looking, you're like, okay, so Andor's doing this, but Searle's doing this, and then you're like, okay, Dedra's over here, and then everyone's is like on edge that whole episode. And then of course when Searle walks into the room and you see all the K2 units look over at him, I remember just going, oh man, this is gonna be horrible. Like this is gonna get really, really bad. And weird to say, it did not disappoint visually. Like that, they executed that whole sequence beautifully, and which is a weird thing to say about a massacre and a project, but it delivered. And I thought it was going to win all the awards for that episode. And I think, and as you can see, it won 2 for that episode. I'm pretty sure there's a few others they lost, but yeah, sound mixing, sound editing. It was like, are you kidding me? How can you lose that?
Well, I'll tell you how, James, because these kinds of shows stink. And I'm not talking about Andor. I'm talking about the Emmys. Okay. How many times does something that was absolutely incredible not win?
That's true.
And it's to the point where I stopped watching these kinds of shows years ago because I don't care what they say. It's all political. There's all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of pressure from these different studios to give it to this, to give it to that. I'm sorry, but like, I think so many times the best whatever in that category does not win when it's clearly the winner.
Oh yeah, I agree.
So I think there's a lot of politics behind it, believe it or not.
And another thing is, I think a lot of people kind of just were like, it's another Star Wars show. Like, and I remember I saw Andy Samberg was talking to Amy Poehler, and he was like, I just got finished watching Andor, and she goes, ugh. And he's like, are you kidding me? Have you watched it? And she's like, I don't care about that. And it was like,
well, we don't care about you, Amy Poehler.
Yeah, right. Nobody cares about you. And I remember Nathan Fillion was on the red carpet somewhere, and they asked him about like, what are you watching? He goes, oh my gosh, I just finished Andor. He goes, that is amazing. Like he just went off on Andor, even though he had no business going off on Andor. He was just like, have you seen it? Because it is one of the best
Fillion
shows.
Is awesome.
Yeah, Nathan Fillion is awesome. But yeah, it's one of those. It was one of those shows that I think people, us Star Wars fans, were like, we knew what we were getting ourselves into with that first season. And I think that first season just delivered, 10 times than what we thought it was going to be. And it was like, how are they going to get even better and bigger with the second season? And then, man, it just hit the ground running. And I was blown away by it.
Yeah. I mean, the first season was a little slow in the beginning and it was tough. I think a lot of people lost interest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've known a lot of people said like they couldn't get through the first 3 episodes.
My brother, he can't watch it.
And I'm like,
Jonathan, he just can't watch it. And I'm like, it's incredible. And he's like, I hear it, but he's like, I can't get into it.
I went back.
So you know what? He should hang out with Amy Poehler.
Yeah, okay? Exactly. I agree.
And we'll hang out with Nathan Fillion.
You know,
Maybe I could get him on the podcast.
I went back and rewatched the first season, and it hit me how important those first 3 episodes are, because the first 3 episodes actually set up the final episodes. And it's like, man, I feel bad for people who just said, I'm done. And I was like, man, you missed a whole heist. You missed an entire prison break. You missed an uprising. Like it's crazy how much is in that first season. And I hope people who watch it and who hear the hype can just be like, okay, let's just see what it's all about. And then after that 3rd episode, they're hopefully like, oh, let's see what else happens. So let me ask you this question, both of you, when it comes to Andor. What was your favorite season, the first season or the second season?
Second.
David?
Yeah, it's the second. I like the fact that they laid down everything and we got to get the baseline of what the show is and kind of the initial shock of what we were seeing. And there was a lot of emotion in that first season. And then with the second season, we kind of knew what to expect, but there was more action. It seemed like they kind of went opposed to, I mean, obviously they threw a lot of money at it. I think the budget was what, like, do you know, James?
I don't know, but it was well spent.
I think it was something like $2 or $3 trillion.
It was astronomical, but maybe not that astronomical, Craig.
They actually had to build the planets, David. It cost a lot of money to do that.
What I liked,
they had to build Gorman. That's a whole planet.
What I love what they did with Andor was they went to actual places and then doing the old school tricks of just, back in the day you do matte paintings, but with Andor they would just digitally just extend something, and you couldn't even tell. Like you looked at something, you're like, oh yeah, that's real. Like there's no way that's not real. Yep. And you see behind the scenes, you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that was digital behind them. It felt like the budget was spent very, very well and very, very wisely with that second season. I will say I think I like them both equally, but of course the second season I think is my favorite. And the performances in both seasons are amazing, and the performances were not even nominated for Emmys.
Yeah, that's
just some guest stars. But Diego Luna not nominated for Best Actor? Like, how does that even happen? He carries that whole.
Can we? Who were the other nominees? Who were the nominees? That's what I'd like to know.
Oh, well, he was nominated for the first season, I remember, and he was going up against some heavy hitters for that when he was up in that first season. Yeah, who would he be going up against this time? Oh, wasn't it like Pedro Pascal? And everybody was like, really?
Yeah, and the Last of Us, he wasn't in that show.
Yeah, he's only in there for like what, 2 episodes?
Yeah, something like that.
Wait, season 2 of Last of Us?
Yeah. Pedro Pascal.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, I don't even watch it. I don't even watch Last of Us.
You're not missing much.
I didn't finish the end of it, but
first season was really good, but the second one was But I hated the second game too.
Are you able to get the nominees for who's nominated for Best Actor this year, who the Emmys thought was better than Diego Luna?
No.
Okay, got you. Well,
but I was gonna say that Disney's making a really big Emmy push, which I don't think they did that for season 1.
No, they really didn't. It felt like they were all nervous because I feel like we have just come off of I think Kenobi had already aired, Book of Boba Fett had aired, and I think a lot of people were like, we'll see. And plus, it was Andor, and we were us fans were excited because we knew Tony Gilroy was doing it. But there was this little bit in my mind where it's like, what if it's not great? Like it's a good character, but how are we gonna how is this all gonna work out? And I was like, oh, they did. So it felt like Disney was a little nervous with that first season. And then with the second season, they're like, yeah, we know this is one of the best things you're probably ever gonna see in about 10 years. So yeah, and driving down, I drive down Beverly Boulevard to get to work. And you can see Andor. Yeah. You can see Andor all over the place, even down, like Sunset in Hollywood. Andor is still up on billboards, because it was a big deal, And yeah, you're right. They really didn't push Andor that much for season 1. and they lost every Emmy for season 1, right? Even the technical things they didn't even, which that doesn't make any sense to me because even the visual effects in the first season were amazing.
Yeah, they lost for outstanding writing for a drama series, outstanding music composition for a series, original dramatic score, outstanding original main title theme music, outstanding directing for a drama series, outstanding drama series, outstanding cinematography for a series, outstanding special visual effects in a season or a movie, outstanding sound editing for a comedy or drama series 1 hour. They lost all those.
It was so bad that they even lost the show named Andor category. They lost in that one as well.
Even if there was a category, how many shows were named Andor? They still would have lost all of them.
Lost.
How many?
That's how bad it was.
Okay, so this is what they're still up for. Well, I don't think I can accurately say that. Aside from outstanding guest actor in a drama series, Forrest Whitaker as Saul Guerrero, of course, for the episode I Have Friends Everywhere. Also,
sorry,
go for it.
I Have Friends Everywhere is also an amazing episode, and I think that gets kind of overshadowed by Who Are You? Like, I Have Friends Everywhere. I remember I was like standing in my living room.
Those
what was
two
that?
episodes back to back were just unbelievable.
I agree. I wasn't expecting that double hit. And like as soon as I Have Friends Everywhere started and it kept going, I'm like literally standing in my living room, like, oh my gosh, what is about to happen? I thought that was perfection too. So, anyways, what else we got, David?
Also, I was going to say outstanding character voiceover performance by Alan Tudyk as K2SO.
Nice.
For Who Else Knows.
Okay.
And of course, outstanding writing for a drama series, Dan Gilroy for Welcome to the Rebellion. Outstanding original music and lyrics, that'd be Nicholas Britell, and Tony Gilroy is also in that category. Outstanding writing for a drama series, Welcome to the Rebellion, Dan Gilroy, writer.
Oh, I think I'm messing up the name. So Welcome to the Rebellion is episode 9, right?
I didn't memorize the names of the actual episodes.
Is it the last episode?
Somebody pull it up.
I got it. Andor episode names of season 2. I Have Friends Everywhere is not the one I'm thinking about. Welcome to the Rebellion is the one where they're trying to get Mon Mothma out of the Senate.
All right.
Which that one, again, okay, so that's what I stand corrected. But yeah, Welcome to the Rebellion and Who Are You, I think, were like the top episodes of that series. Yes. That was insane. But, man,
yeah, there's a little bit of sadness, too, because, I mean, it's all over. And it was such a great show. And like you said, James, there was the effect of people kind of wincing when you said there's another Star Wars show because maybe they didn't see one of the best shows and it was like maybe too much inside baseball for them. And Andor, I mean, as a standalone, it's a great drama, and it mirrored real world events at some points, and there was a lot of association and a lot of like relating to what was going on for a lot of people in the world, and now it's all over. And Disney Lucasfilm is still trying to do things for Andor. They had that pop-up where Tony Gilroy showed up. They invited a few people to go to it. There was like a newspaper stand, and then they had props from the show. There's like a Gorman spider and different things like a helmet and a TIE pilot helmet. So they're still trying to do things and still trying to push for it. And Tony Gilroy says that I'll never do anything bigger, grander than what we just did on Andor, because he spent 10 years of his life on it.
Yeah.
And he winces when people say, do you want to do more? And he's like, no, I just spent 10 years of my life on this.
Yeah, I can imagine he's
as a writer. I mean, you want to do something different. I mean, he's not just built for Star Wars. He's built for everything, you know.
David, Do you remember at Celebration when they showed the sizzle reel before the Mando panel? It was like the first sizzle reel they showed of like Celebration. That was one where they had Leia pop up.
At the very beginning, yes.
Yeah, very beginning. You remember when they showed Andor walking, everybody screamed and everybody yelled. And then when Hayden Christensen came up, same thing.
Yes.
And I was like, man, Diego Luna and Andor had an equal reaction as did Hayden Christensen. People seeing Hayden Christensen. So
yes,
that was incredible. That was a good like sign, like, oh, everyone here is ready for season 2 of Andor.
Yeah, Andor was pretty much kind of like the belle of the ball at Celebration.
Yeah.
Like their panel, everyone wanted to attend it. It was like truncated by the fact that they showed episode 1. So we didn't get to hear them speak a lot on stage, but we got to see episode 1 on the big screen, which was incredible. But yeah, man, it's pretty much over after the Emmys. I mean, there's nothing else to do.
Yeah. The good news is you can now introduce people to Andor. Now you can tell people, hey, by the way, you should really watch this. I met a fan yesterday, not of the podcast, which I wish that was cool. That was true, but no, just a Star Wars fan. And we talked about Star Wars, and I said, "What's your favorite movie?" And they told me, Revenge of the Sith. They were younger, so I was like, "Oh, it makes sense." And we started talking about it. And then I was like, "Did you like Rogue One?" And they were like, "I loved Rogue One." And I said, "Have you seen Andor?" No, I didn't want. It looked, I don't know. And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And then they were like, "Really?" I was like, "You need to watch Andor." And then they said, "Okay, I'll give it a shot." But yeah, the moment I brought up Andor, they're like, I don't want to watch that. I was like, you're missing some of the best Star Wars that's ever been created. So it just makes me sad that there is a huge group of people out there who never gave it a shot. But at the same time, we can get everyone excited about it, So, and Craig, I'm just really happy you liked Andor. So you and I at least like the same thing in Star Wars.
We're bonding. We're bonding.
Yeah, we're bonding over Andor. You see? Star Wars brings people together
and tears us apart.
But yeah, so look forward to this Sunday. The Emmys are going to be out. So yeah, let's see if Andor wins.
I hope it wins in the Andor category this year.
Yeah, hopefully it wins in its own category.
Best show named Andor loses 2 years in a row.
Oh, that'd be so great. Someone said they think they don't have time to sit through the episode of Andor. Rogue One is just 2 hours. And man, you would not believe how many times I talk to people about Star Wars and they go, and the movies are just so long. And I'm like, where do people hear Star Wars movies are so long? And I told somebody, I said, the longest Star Wars movie is 2 hours and like 40 minutes. And they're like, really? I was like, yeah. And I was like, that's just one Star Wars movie. And they were like, I thought they were all like 3 hours long. And I said, who started this rumor? Because you would not believe how many people I've talked to about who've never seen Star Wars. That's the first thing they bring up. Like, oh, they're just so long. I'm not going to watch them.
Interesting. I don't think I've ever heard someone complain about that before.
I have. And it's ridiculous. But then they're going to watch 8 hours of a Netflix series and they're going to watch, sit down all day and binge watch a show. And it's like, okay, that's acceptable, but not a movie. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways,
so the next thing I want to talk about is
maybe D23. We should have awards, the Star Wars Stuff Podcast Awards, and in the category of best show in the Andor series, we are giving it to, drum roll please, James. Andor. Yay! It was Mr. Belvedere. It doesn't even win in our category for best Andor.
But in other news, D23 happened, and
let me ask Craig this question. What is D23, Craig?
D23 is a top secret organization that is meant to take over the world 23 people at a time.
I think that's actually pretty close. But David, go ahead and just tell us what
I do know what it is.
Okay, what is it?
It's like every year there's an event that Disney
You're already wrong, Craig.
There's one event every year, but then it's like it's alternating. Like 1 year it's one version, 1 year it's the next.
I don't think so.
There was one in Orlando just like 2 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
But then there's like one in LA. It's like one is in LA, and then the next year it's like someplace else.
All right, that's not my understanding. My understanding of D23, it's once every 2 years.
That's what I'm saying. Is like there's like it's like it is every 2 years, but then like the other year it's like called something like D23 Expo or something like that.
Okay, so I just asked Google, and it says the official Disney fan club, also known as simply D23, is the official fan club for the Walt Disney Company. Founded in 2009, the organization is known mainly for its biennial exposition event, which means once every 2 years.
I could have swore there was something last year about it.
That's what I'm saying. Is like what just happened in Orlando? There was just one in Orlando.
Yeah. And I'll read a little bit more explanation. D23 stands for Disney, with the D representing the company's name and 23 referring to the year 1923, when Walt Disney moved to California and founded his West Coast studio. D23 is the official fan club, like I just said, was launched in 2009, provides fans with exclusive content, merchandise, and events, including the major biennial D23 Expo. Key aspects of D23. D23 serves as the official community for Disney fans, offering a connection to all the worlds of Disney. Membership benefits. You got to be a member to get tickets for this. You receive exclusive access to events, merchandise, content, and information about the company's past, present, and future. So yeah, it's basically kind of like Disney Comic-Con in a sense. So it was held this year, but it does feel like there was something last year. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like I thought there's like a separate, like a slightly different version of it every other year, because they just had one in Orlando.
And they talked about like Toy Story. They introduced Toy Story last year, and they were like, The Incredibles is also going to come out. And there was a bunch of other things they announced last year, I remember. Is this the Mandela effect? Uh-oh.
Probably is.
I'm just kidding.
So yeah, I mean, the predicament for us on the podcast is, do we go or do we not go?
That was a predicament of ours. I didn't.
Yeah, James lives right there, pretty close.
Literally 15 minutes away from my house.
Right. I don't think any of us are members of the Disney fan club. Maybe Craig is, but D23 happened. It didn't happen in Orlando, Craig. It happened in Anaheim.
Dude, I'm telling you, there was just one here like a week and a half ago. My girlfriend was gonna go.
Well, according to this article, and I got a picture here.
So, is somebody listening to this right now? Is there some?
All right, so this article might kind of clear up everything. So the Mandalorian Grogu first footage wows at Disney D23. AT-AT, Snow, and Babu Frick. The first Star Wars feature film since 2019's pre-pandemic Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, Jon Favreau's Mandalorian Grogu, was shown off Friday night at Disney's D23. Favreau, who directs, came on stage with co-scribe and producer Dave Filoni. We're all pretty excited to have Star Wars back on the big screen, said Filoni. Favreau said they just started filming. Maybe this is an old... Let me see.
You're like, oh, this was last year at D23.
So no, this is last year. So okay, so there's kind of a weird thing, because when you try and look it up. So my point is trying to get through all the mud here. It really wasn't worth going because the Starfighter crew, the cast and crew, did not show up.
Nope.
The report was that there was only the Mandalorian Grogu trailer that they showed in Japan was shown there at D23, and that was it as far as Star Wars goes. But of course, they announced all the stuff for Disney Animation and Pixar and everything else that's included in their slate, their upcoming slate. So Star Wars didn't have a huge presence. So that's what I was saying. It's always like a predicament. Should we go? Should we not go? I think we could go, but
they don't want us there.
Wasn't Star Wars heavy enough, I don't think, for us to go.
No.
So I guess we made a good decision by not going, because we already saw the Mando Grogu trailer in Japan, and there was nothing new to talk to us about or show us at the event.
Did they show the clip, the AT-AT sequence?
They
at
showed the
D23?
trailer. They showed us in Japan. Yeah,
So
that
like,
was the report.
so
I
the
saw.
whole thing we saw in Japan, they got to see at D23.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Because I was wondering if when you said the trailer, I was like, was that what the second thing we saw? Because I remember after that sequence was over, they showed that quote unquote sizzle reel afterward.
Yeah. So that's how sparse information is, because if you do a search for Mando Grogu D23, the old article pops up. They didn't even write an article about it. This is just like talk on social media that I heard.
I'm nervous, man. I'm getting nervous about this Mando Grogu movie, dude, because it feels.
I think we'll be fine with it, but
Disney's been so secretive with everything, though, James. We're not getting trailers of anything. It's honestly, they really need to lighten up a little bit and show people stuff. Like, don't they realize that there'll be 500 YouTube videos after you share a 30-second clip? Like, why would you not want to promote something 2 years out when all you have to do is show a tiny little trailer? People get psyched for it, and they talk about it for years. Instead, they wait for 4 months before the thing comes out, and you don't even know what nobody knows about it.
Man, I agree. I remember when episode 1 came out. Before, I forget how far in advance it was. They already
17 years before it. There was a trailer for Meet Joe
exactly,
Black.
but no, they released the droid on the speeder, on the the battle droid on the speeder.
Yeah, the battle droid on the stap. Yeah.
Yes, like months and months and months.
It was over.
No,
it was probably like a year out.
Okay, good. I'm not wrong. I remember it was forever, and that was like the
and there was a Mace Windu, I think, also.
I don't remember that one, but I agree.
It wasn't with a vehicle. It was like by himself. I think it was it a mail away? I don't remember.
All I know is they need to start.
There was a Mace Windu. I remember that. The staff and the Mace Windu you had to mail out for.
That's awesome.
Pretty good memory. How many years ago?
That's a hell of a memory. Yeah, that was almost
26 years ago, 27 years ago.
Wow.
But I mean, it was so ingrained in my head because I was like, I want that.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like very posable. The Mace Windu, it was just kind of like has had those stiff arms.
So we're 8 months out from Mando and Grogu. That's got to fly by much quicker than you think. In 8 months, we need a trailer Christmas Day for Mando and Grogu. We need a trailer.
We should do that.
Yes,
that would be a great idea.
Black Friday.
Or you want to go back to the Black Friday?
Yeah,
they only
everyone's kind of off, and
that's right. Or Thanksgiving. Why not Thanksgiving? Put a trailer at Thanksgiving when everybody's watching the big game,
and announce it. Announce to everybody a week in advance. Get ready on Thanksgiving. Your first look at Mando and Grogu. I mean, everybody would be like, "Oh, we're getting the trailer. We're gonna get the trailer."
And then you'll have 500 videos out on YouTube, and they'll make it all that Black Friday advertising money on their
man. And then you know what? And then you have Then there's 6 months of hype. There's 6 months of everybody getting ready for Mando and Grogu. Like as soon as January 1st hits, it needs to be Disney needs to be just giving us Star Wars from January 1st until May. Just boom, boom, giving us stuff so we can see, releasing posters, releasing like pictures, just anything and everything to get the hype up. Because like I said, I'm getting worried about this. I'm getting worried that it's been such a long time since Mando and Grogu, or since Mandalorian, that the general audiences are going to be like, who cares now?
I think that Disney's not doing a good enough job of like Lucasfilm would give us a trailer a year out, even if it's just a teaser. Yeah. Even with here's what they could even do this. They could just show clips of the first 3 seasons of their story, and then in the last 15 seconds have a bunch of montage shots of the movie of things we haven't seen, and one line of the movie like, Grogu, get over here. And then all of a sudden everybody's screaming at their TV, oh my God, can you believe the way he was like, Grogu, get over here?
I agree. That sounds amazing. That needs to happen. We need to be getting that stuff. But I am just so afraid they're not going to do that. They're going to wait until March to start being like, oh, by the way, there's a movie coming out in May, and it's gonna be like, no,
Yeah.
man, I need to go to the theater Thanksgiving or Christmas and see the teaser poster up of just the title, Mandalorian and Grogu, just so I can
And
feel like it's happening.
You know what makes me crazy is that they don't, like, Disney lately has not given us anything far out. So we got nothing to look at, no clips, no nothing. And then 3 weeks before the movie, you practically see the whole movie. And you're like, I've seen all of this. Isn't there any other parts of this movie? All this was on the commercials.
Now I remember when I watched The Last Jedi,
No, we don't talk about that.
There was a TV spot they showed that I remember going, why did they show that? And it was the one of Rey catching Kylo Ren's lightsaber surrounded by the guards. And it was like, I was like, that's a pretty cool moment in the movie that I think you should have kept a little hidden. But I remember being like, oh, okay. And I remember people being like, they're giving away too much of the movie. They're giving away too much of the movie. Anyways, David, do you think we should be getting Star Wars in November and December already this year, or what?
Yeah, I think it's time. I mean, they showed us that sizzle reel in Japan, and they've done it at D23, and
They
it's
didn't
like,
even release that to the public.
I mean,
no, of course not.
I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's
James and I talk about the fact that Star Wars can hype us up so much. They need a hype division of Lucasfilm to be ran and to get people hyped up. Not even like release anything, just say we're going to release something, so be ready, guys.
Yeah.
So that people can go on their water cooler breaks or their coffee break at the right time, so everyone can see it and talk about it simultaneously. We can all experience it together. Set a timer. And boom, we get it, and we talk about the thing, and we're all on the same page, and not, oh my gosh, they just released something. It's like we're all on different schedules, and we want to kind of know when it's going to get released, not just randomly. Oh, here's the cast of Starfighter, just randomly, caught us all off guard. I was getting a haircut at the time, I think. And it was just weird timing.
I don't understand. I still don't understand why they do that. It makes zero sense for Disney to do that.
Whoever's doing their marketing, or however they've clearly made some changes into how they're promoting stuff, and it hasn't built hype like it could. Lucasfilm did a great job back in the day before Disney, where it would show you a trailer, and you'd get a teaser, and it would hold you over for 6 months. But then you'd get a little something a little bit later, maybe, and then, so there might be a little bit of lag where you're frustrated, like, give us something else. But if you just give a little bit, it really builds the hype. And there's, 500 YouTubers promoting it for free.
Yeah. You got us talking about it.
On end.
Even if you show a thing of Ryan Gosling like walking through a set and you blur out things, I mean, people are still going to try and dissect what's being blurred out, and it gives stuff for us to talk about, to hype up the movie, and speculation, because everyone speculates about stuff. And it was great that they sent out that photo with the speeder and the boy and Ryan. It was in black and white, but I mean, that's kind of an interesting thing. And back in the day when they used to have the whole like subscription service to hyperspace on StarWars.com, they'd release one picture, and then it was like, oh my God, that's so awesome. Every Tuesday you get a picture from George, and it was it was like speculation galore, and we're like wondering, okay, what is this alien creature? We found it was a Togruta.
And it'd be like in the background of the movie, you wouldn't even see it.
It would either be in the background or like a little piece of the frame, or like
it's
like Hayden running. Yeah, and like some weird, like the back of some random alien that we probably never saw because it didn't make the cut or whatever.
I forgot about that, but it's true. But it would get you excited.
Yes, it got you hyped up, and it was.
We don't have anything for Mandalorian and Grogu, right? Like they don't even show the teaser. They didn't even release that sizzle reel to the public.
No. Yeah, when it comes to Celebration and what they're showing at Celebration versus what they release to the public is really strange. It doesn't make any sense. That we're just complaining. Joseph, thank you for joining us on YouTube. We're just complaining right now.
We're not complaining. We're giving them a strategy.
We're telling them
taking over marketing
because I still, and I've said this before, I still remember when we were there at Chicago, and Craig, you were there too. Were you? Did you go to the Mandalorian panel? Were you in that panel?
Yes.
Okay,
Oh my
so
god, you got the
you
posters.
saw clips, scenes, everything, and I remember we were David. You and I were there. No, you weren't there. Were you?
I was there.
The first thing
I
they
was with you and
showed, I
Joseph.
remember he was walking into the snow into that little building.
Yep.
And then he's in the doors open. Yeah, from like that was the first
So
thing.
I remember they were, we
And you could
saw,
hear the
Pedro Pascal
of
Yep.
of
and him walking.
The track.
So they had Pedro Pascal. They had, we got to see Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, and everything, and they're talking. And then they're like, "All right, here's your first look." And then the screen went black, and we're all like there in the, in the Star Wars show stage watching, and everyone's watching, and then everyone after like 10 or 15 seconds, you just hear people going, "No." And sure enough, they were like, "We're not showing you guys anything." And I just remember the disappointment.
that is so awful.
And then at Anaheim, Joseph and I rushed to the Star Wars show stage because we want to see the I think it was the what was that panel? It was like the big panels where John Williams was there and everyone was there.
The Lucasfilm
Anyways,
showcase.
the Lucasfilm showcase.
Yeah.
And we all rushed to the stage to watch the panel because we didn't get the lottery to get in there. And it got to 10 o'clock, 10:05, and then you just see people going, "Oh, well, that's it." And everyone just walked away from the stage. Everybody was like, "This is terrible." So yeah, I'm not surprised they're not going to show any of that stuff online anymore. I'm really upset at them for doing that. But I really hope Thanksgiving we get a word that there's going to be something. And you know what?
They're missing out on a huge opportunity to market it.
Lucasfilm, Disney, tell us, and we will start letting everybody know. Get ready, something really cool is about to happen. We will throw it out everywhere that something really cool is about to happen.
Colin will even do it in a Chewbacca outfit.
Exactly. Joseph on YouTube says, "I saw the leaked video for the new Mandalorian movie. It got leaked onto YouTube and taken down. Second time it was off Facebook. I doubt it's still there." Yeah, it's like, guys, Lucasfilm. People want to see this. Like, people are trying to get this stuff out there for their friends to watch.
What is a drawback for the world to see that?
Nothing.
I don't think there is.
Zero.
There's
Zero.
nothing.
Zero.
I mean, we're not going to get mad if we travel to Japan and we get the footage first, and then like 25 minutes later, or 30 minutes later, or an
I
hour,
don't care.
the rest of the world gets it. I mean, yes, so what? I mean, I already saw it. I mean, I went to Japan for this. That's fantastic. I got to see it in a room. I had to win a lottery to do it, which is another whole topic conversation. But I mean, we got to see it. I mean, we want other people to see the stuff too, so there's reference and they can relate to what we're talking about on the podcast. And all of our friends, even if you delete the podcast from existence, we still want to talk to other people about the trailer,
Agreed.
All of our friends. So I mean, it doesn't even matter about the podcast.
Here's the thing. They could have shown at Celebration, we could have seen the AT-AT sequence. That could have been for us. The sizzle reel afterwards totally could have been released to everybody, and we all would have been like, "Did you see it? Did you see what that the reel that they just showed?" I don't know why they don't do like. I'll admit,
it doesn't make any sense, and I'll tell you what makes even less sense.
What you got?
Half the seats are empty. They don't even fill the seats and the stadium up. They don't ask people to move over. Half of it is empty every single time. And there's people waiting out in the line, and they just get turned away when clearly there's tons of seats available. It's unbelievable. And I don't think they understand that these people that run the cons have no idea what
Reed Pop. It's a third-party company that runs the convention.
They have no idea.
Really Disney. Disney gives like the keys to like that whole convention kingdom to Reed Pop. And Reed Pop, I think, hires a lot of people off the street too, because they're not like an entity where they carry people around the world. They can't afford to do that, obviously. I mean, there's heads of it that are there always, but I mean, they could only be so many places because there's so many people. And then I had a Japanese man try and communicate with me to put away your tripod, put away your phone. And then, of course, somebody was on the camera stage recording it on their phone, and that's how Colin saw it back in Michigan. And he was like, I'm so glad I didn't fly to Japan and risk my child being born, because I just saw everything on here from somebody recording it illegally. And it's like, I mean, great, but I mean, you should be able to see it in 4K 30 minutes later, you know, because we're all going to be buzzing about it and talking about it anyways. I mean, create the buzz with the actual thing, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I remember after the Rise of Skywalker trailer showed in 2019, my brother called me, was like, dude, I just saw the trailer. I was like, dude, I was in the room when they launched the trailer. You know what I mean? Like, that was still so cool for us to freak out about it. Like, I wasn't mad that he saw the trailer. I was just glad I had someone to talk to about it. And also, I was glad, I was like, dude, I was in the room when they announced,
being in the room with the actual creators,
that's the best.
Directors, DP, producers, cast, actors, actresses, all the talent. I mean, that's special. And you cannot duplicate that by being at home and watching it.
The crowd.
And they're looking at you. The people that actually made the new Star Wars are looking at you, saying hi to you, signing your
get out of
autograph,
here,
taking photos,
of our cases,
hugging you, thanking you for supporting them.
Even so,
take it back to Japan with the Andor panel. They kept on saying, we love Celebration because we get a direct, immediate reaction from the work that we just did, and we can feel it. When they were there at the previous Celebration, when nobody knew what Andor was, they were just some random actors. But now, after season 1 and season 2, they came back to Celebration. They knew what Celebration was. We had seen Andor season 1, and we just saw Andor season 2, episode 1 on the big screen. They felt the love, and some of them were crying because, I mean, it was so great. And there's a lot of people in the audience crying about it too, because it kept on par with season 1. And it was just fantastic, man. That's why you go to Celebration. It's not because you want to see the footage before everyone. It's so you could be there with the people that created Star Wars. The rare people that are selected to add to the legacy of Star Wars. That's why you go to Celebration, not because you want to see footage that no one else can see.
It doesn't make it less special if they release the trailer to everybody else.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
David, that was really good.
Being there, everybody together in that
moment.
Where's
the Tylenol?
Huh? It's a Christmas vacation reference.
Yeah, I did my.
Where's the Tylenol? Man, but we'll see. We'll see. We're over here telling Disney what they need to do. And like I said, Disney, just give us a call. We will gladly hype up Star Wars for you because we love Star Wars and we want to share it with everybody. And I always like to tell people we're one of the few podcasts that actually enjoys Star Wars, and we will love talking about it. So Disney, we're right here. Let us know. We'll hype it up for you. No problem. And on that note, so next,
I was waiting for Craig to say something.
I'm behaving myself.
What do you got? What do you got, Craig?
Nothing. I don't want to get in trouble with Colin.
Anyways, Greg Fraser. Yeah, Greg Fraser. Yeah. We should talk about him.
So I was in a closed circuit Q&A with Greg Fraser. Of course, he's the DP of many great, well-known films. Okay. He's an Academy Award winner. He's a DP of Dune 1, Dune 2, one of my favorite movies of all time, Zero Dark 30. Also, the DP of Rogue One, of course, Star Wars, Rogue One. Have you seen it?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I've seen Rogue One.
So he's a director of photography. That means he's the one behind the camera for all these epic, awesome films. Okay.
And the Batman. Don't forget. And
the Batman too. Also, Project Hail Mary coming out with Ryan Gosling. Right. Yes. So yes, epically awesome, connected person with a lot of talent. And he's a great speaker. So when he did the Q&A, what happened was I submitted questions. I asked James and Colin, I didn't ask Craig, to submit questions to Greg Fraser. It was like kind of a last minute thing, so don't feel bad, Craig. So he got the questions in. He got one of my questions, and I'll kind of go over it later. But he's a great speaker, like I said. He would answer a question with like 200 to 500 words, man. I mean, he would go on and on. And it was great. I mean, he had a lot to still say about Rogue One. He loves talking about Rogue One, which is terrific. Hopefully, maybe we can have him on the podcast eventually. The other thing I told Craig earlier today that was very interesting, that adds to this whole lore of Rogue One and the whole saga behind it, that us civilians will never know about because we weren't on set, we weren't involved. The whole thing where Tony Gilroy came in and he helped the movie in writing and apparently directing, as the story goes. All the people that are involved with it don't talk about what happened officially because they're not allowed to. They sign NDAs. James has mentioned on the podcast before, he knows somebody that possibly could speak to it, but of course he shut down because they cannot talk about it. So the question still remains, what happened? So in regards to what Greg Fraser said in the Q&A, he very much championed Gareth Edwards' directorial effort on Rogue One. And he even went as far to say that Gareth Edwards helped them become a better cinematographer. And he had nothing but great things to say about Gareth Edwards. And the irony to it, he also did a film that year called Lion, directed by another Gareth director with very similar sounding names. So when he was trying to juggle it all in his head when he was doing the Q&A, he almost made it seem like he was shooting Rogue One and Lion simultaneously and working on both projects at the same time. And the moderator said, if you go back and see Lion, you can tell that it's Greg Fraser while he's shooting Rogue One, because there are similarities to it. I've never seen the movie Lion. I believe it stars. You've seen it, James?
Yes.
Okay. Is that the one that stars Dev Patel?
Dev Patel and Nicole Kidman. The reason why a lot of people, Zach from Japan is leaving us on YouTube. Zach, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your comments as well. The reason why that movie kind of got overshadowed was because that was during the Harvey Weinstein. Everything was going on with Harvey Weinstein, and he was the producer of that film. So that film kind of got pushed away. But it is an amazing movie, and it looks. And you can tell now that you say that, it's really interesting because you're like, oh, because there are shots in that you're like, oh, that's a pretty good shot. But yeah, I didn't know that he also did that one.
Yes. All the Dune films. I'm guessing also Dune Chapter 3 when
he's not doing out? Dune 3, I believe.
Oh, he's not? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he's doing something else pretty big, and he's not coming back for Dune 3.
What would be bigger than Dune 3?
I don't know, but something big to make him not come back.
The Odyssey?
Yeah, I don't know. It's really weird, but
isn't Hoyta doing Odyssey too?
Yeah.
Okay. The same guy, the same cinematographer that did Oppenheimer.
But anyways, but so what else did so the one thing I'm wondering, correct me if I'm wrong, David, do you think Greg, sorry, I just read Craig's name, Greg Fraser didn't really work with Tony Gilroy? ? Do you think Tony Gilroy may have brought in his own
what
DP?
it seems like? We don't know the full story of what actually transpired. I mean, never say never, but true. I really want to know. And I know people that were there at this point, and they still don't know. And if they do know, they're not saying they know. So there's no way of knowing.
Jeez.
And it's one of those things. It's one of those great Star Wars fan life questions now. How did it work? How did it happen? Because, of course, Gareth Edwards afterwards did the movie. What was the name of it, James?
The Creator.
The Creator, and it was actually entitled something called something with love in the title. But Carrie Hart jumped out of Lucasfilm to work with him. So, and I know Carrie Hart is a very smart person, and she just jumped ship to work with Gareth Edwards, it appeared. And I thought that whole thing was interesting, and the amount of talent. And then Disney backed it. So, I mean, it couldn't have been, how and my mind keeps on going back to, okay, Gareth Edwards is a huge Star Wars fan. We all know this. Us as Star Wars fans, I mean, I'm not Gareth, but it would be very hard for me to direct a movie, first of all, but direct a Star Wars film, bringing back the franchise to prominence after being dormant since the prequels. That's a lot of pressure, man.
Mm-hmm.
That is extreme. The most pressure a director can have is that, I would think, in that situation, in that circumstance. I could not imagine being J.J. Abrams, man. I was hurt. I was being anxious for the guy. That's how much I was connecting to that whole circumstance. So I mean, Greg Fraser had nothing but great things to say about Gareth. And Gareth, he's still a working director. He's doing big stuff.
Yeah,
Jurassic Park Rebirth.
Kathleen Kennedy's husband hired him to do Jurassic
yeah, man.
Park
So
Rebirth.
what? I mean, there's no logic to this.
That wasn't a very good Jurassic Park movie. I'm gonna have to say that. I'm gonna step
better than the last two.
I mean, when the
Which isn't
T-Rex,
a lot.
how does the T-Rex not pop an inflatable raft? When
How do you do an entire third act of a Jurassic Park movie in a house? Answer me that question. When I saw that in Dominion, I said, I am done.
Didn't we do a podcast where we just started talking about Jurassic Park?
We should do that. Let's do that. You know what, guys?
No, we already did that. No, we're not going to talk about Jurassic
Park. Do
it
again. We are doing it again. I'm just kidding, but no. But yeah, when because you told me that he had nothing but praise for
yes.
Gareth Edwards.
High praise.
They had nothing about Tony Gilroy.
Nothing.
Makes you wonder if the NDAs are like, you can never mention any part of the production with Tony Gilroy, or B, Greg Fraser did not work with Tony Gilroy. Tony Gilroy brought in his own DP. They hired their own crew to do the reshoots. So, which would then give Greg Fraser time to go shoot Lion at the same time. You know what I mean? So it's like there's things that may have happened to where Tony Gilroy and Greg Fraser never worked together when they were doing this movie. And then whoever the DP was who came in is never going to get credited as the DP for the film. So we'll never know. Okay, never say never, as David says. But man, it's already been almost 10 years. And that movie is still a mystery to us Star Wars fans. Like, we're always going to be wondering what happened on that set. And how Tony Gilroy says it was bad. It was so bad.
No, okay. Tony Gilroy has spoken about this stuff. Like, he said it was a body on the table.
Yes. His words are like, it was the worst thing.
I was like, how? But then again, I understand the plight of being a mega Star Wars fan trying to direct a Star Wars. And it's like, man, you got all that emotion. And it's like, does that interfere with your directing ability? I mean, what was it, man?
Yeah,
I don't know. We're never going to know the whole truth, I don't think.
The same with Solo. Like, again.
Well, they told us that. I mean, Alden Ehrenreich told Kathleen Kennedy, this doesn't feel right. And then there was that comparison to Ace Ventura. And when you hear that, it just doesn't sound good at all. But then again, take it back to Greg Fraser. He's shooting the movie that we saw clips from at Hall H, Ted and I and Colin, for Project Hail Mary. And it looks great. And that's by Lord and Miller.
Yeah.
And then immediately after Lord and Miller got fired from Solo, they went to go do Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. They didn't direct it, but they were like kind of the heads of it.
I don't know. I suspect it was probably a little bit more wild or outrageous or something, and Kathleen Kennedy didn't like the way it was going.
Yeah, because from what I've heard, is I forget which actor said it, but they would do like take after take after take. Lord Miller would, and they would just, all right, do it again. And the actors were like, how? Like, just do it again. And they would just keep doing take and just do something funny, do this, do that. And then I think it got to the point where they're like, what are we even making right now? Like, this doesn't feel right. And then they said when Ron Howard came in, 2 takes, all right, we're moving on. And the actors were like, really? He goes, yeah, I got it. We're good. Let's go. And they were just like, okay, yeah, this feels like I don't want to say it, but this feels like a director named Ron Howard who knows exactly what he's doing. taking over this, you know. So I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. So it feels strange that with every production of Star Wars, minus, I'm sorry, Craig, The Last Jedi, felt like something just went wrong with these projects.
As opposed to Last Jedi, where everything went wrong.
Everything went wrong. Yeah, there we go. But the fact that there was no, like, with the Force Awakens, there's a second movie out there. With The Rise of Skywalker, there was a whole other movie that they wrote that never got made. And then with Solo and Rogue One, they had to kind of bring in other people to make the movie. And it's like, how does that happen? And
That's a great segue, James. The next thing I'm about to talk about.
you're very welcome. I did that on purpose, by the way. You take it away.
So another thing that stuck out to me that Greg Fraser said was there was an entirely different ending to Rogue One that he shot.
What?
That he really, really, really liked. And when he was notified that they had some extra time and they wanted to come back and shoot the Vader hallway sequence, he shot it. And he still said that the other ending was better than that Vader hallway sequence. But after he saw the Vader hallway sequence on the big screen with everyone else, he's like, yeah, they picked the right ending. But the question is, what was that ending sequence? My theory is that part of the trailer where you see Cassian and Jyn and somebody's holding the hard drive with the Death Star plans with the AT-AT shooting directly at them. I think that might have been a chunk of that ending, because that feels very climactic in a way. Maybe they had to like go through stormtroopers, the AT-AT, a lot of obstacles to kind of get off the beach and maybe meet their final end. I don't know. That's just kind of my speculation, but I thought that was interesting. And he was asked, can you describe that ending? And he said, I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to.
Wow.
Was Leia originally in that ending? Do we know?
He went as far as to say, to make it seem like Vader, he said the Vader and Leia ending. So he made it seem like Leia wasn't even a part of it.
Oh, you know what? Not gonna lie. I can see how the Vader hallway scene was a last minute thing. Like, even as I was watching it, I remember thinking, I don't think this was the original ending for this part. Something about it felt weird to me when I first saw it. It was great. The Leia thing I thought was the ending. I thought that was originally supposed to be the ending. But now hearing this, that's a little, man, what could have, because for me, the ending is perfect because Leia shows up at the end. Like, that's what for me made me go, yes, this is a great Star Wars movie. Not my favorite, but the ending made that very, very special for me. What do you think it could have been? Like, what was this climactic thing they could have finished it with? Yeah, the AT-AT on the beach there was also.
Yeah, I can't imagine what could be more climactic in this, you know?
Maybe it is kind of what happened where they die on the beach and maybe that's it. And
maybe they all died on the beach.
Vader and the Tantive. And it was interesting because Greg Fraser kept on saying the Tantive 4. He said it multiple times. I was like, no one really says the actual name of the blockade runner.
So I'm wondering if there was more to do with that.
But what could have happened there? Like, right? Because, Vader gets on the ship in a little bit. Like, what could I don't know. That's odd.
Maybe they just kind of cut it short. I mean,
if he comes on the podcast, he'd probably tell us everything.
Oh, of course. I remember watching Krennic walking through the water with his cape like wet, like he's walking through like ankle deep water toward the ending of it looks like the battle's over. It's like there's smoke and everything. And I remember that was in the trailer and it was like, oh, that's pretty cool. That's a cool shot. It looked like the battle was over as he walked towards it. And I remember the reason they're running toward the AT-AT shooting at them is because they have the plans and now they have to get to the tower. And that was another part of the battle, was to get to the tower. Tony Gilroy came in and said, it's the same place. And he just morphed it into that the tower is there and located with the records, and that's how he was able to shrink it down. But yeah, what could the ending have been? Do you think we'll ever find out, David?
A lot of people in reality might have to pass away before we are able to.
Or
But
take
even
over,
then-
or take over Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's shocking. And like, there's those books out right now, which is the archives, the red ones, the prequels, the black ones, the original trilogy. They're like huge, thick books with like amazing pictures of photographers who are taking pictures on the set with like behind the scenes. And that was when we first found out that George Lucas said Maul was supposed to be the villain in 7, 8, and 9. Like that was where we found that out, was in those books. I don't think we're gonna get that for the sequel trilogy. I don't think Lucasfilm and Disney is gonna release a book like that shows all of the behind the scenes tea that happened. And we just gotta listen to what Greg Fraser says and other people say and try to piece it all together. But yeah, I'm convinced he did not work with Tony Gilroy on the reshoots of Rogue One.
I don't think he did either. Yeah. So, like I said, my question got asked, and this is a credit to Ted, actually, because Ted was the one that pointed out this question was a great question to ask in an interview. James and Colin did submit questions, didn't get asked, but I think they kind of got asked by other people on the Q&A. So my question was, is there something you have always wanted to talk about Rogue One that's never asked about? And when he got the question, I mean, a lot of people say this, the interviewees, they say, oh, that's a great question. But then he said, I wish I was posed this question maybe not right before the interview, because I probably have something that I haven't spoken about, because I've been talking about Rogue One for the last 10 years. I'm pretty sure that I've covered everything, but there might be something that I haven't talked about. And I was like, oh, we should get, because he got my questions like I think the moderator got my question like 15 minutes in advance. And he just picked questions from different people. This was a public Q&A that anyone could have joined. I just saw their kind of Instagram post, which was related to, I believe, the Dallas Museum of Fine Art. And I just hit, I want to participate. And then we were brought in. Greg was there. We didn't get to speak to him. He didn't see us at all, but it was like a Zoom call thing. But it was really cool to hear him speak about Rogue One as much as he did. And of course, it's a legendary Star Wars film now. It gets better with age. It's like fine wine. You know
what's crazy? I'm sorry, but I don't remember the DP for 4, 5, and 6, or 1, 2, and 3. But you know what I mean? Like, but we know Greg Fraser was the DP of Rogue One. That says something for him, that people are still going to be asking him about this for the next, probably the rest of his life, about this movie, which I think that's kind of unique. Anyway, sorry, David. Didn't mean to...
Yeah. The thing about Greg Fraser, I mean, he's got an incredible history of being behind the camera. I mean, I think the real big plug back then was we got the cinematographer of Zero Dark 30 to film this very unique war film at 2015 Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim. And we were all like, oh, cool. And then they showed us that artwork of the U-Wing. And we were like, okay, this is kind of getting us hyped here. Again, with the hype. And then, of course, after Rogue One, he did Dune, the Batman, the Creator with Gareth Edwards, Dune Part 2, and now Project Hail Mary.
Well, maybe he'll turn things around and get back.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he might get his career going. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, man. He's a heavy hitter.
The Batman though was amazing. That was beautifully shot. Yeah.
Yeah. Also Snow White and the Huntsman.
Oh. Zero Dark 30 was better, I think.
But it was a close one for you.
Yeah, it was really close with that one, but I think Zero Dark 30 might win my vote for out of those two. Yeah.
So in 2016 he worked on Rogue One with Gareth Edwards, also Lion with Gareth Davis.
Jeez. A little confusing, yeah.
So yeah, that was pretty much the Q&A. That's what kind of stood out. Fantastic speaker. He's a fantastic guest. Hopefully someday he'll be on the podcast and not answer all of our Rogue One questions that we're dying to know about. So yeah,
Make it happen, David.
All right. So the next thing, SpaceCon is right around the corner, and that will be on the
Where's
weekend.
Bob? Why isn't Bob on here with us tonight?
I think it's past Bob's bedtime. It's
You know
almost
what?
midnight here in South Texas.
It's his convention. He should be up with us.
So there was a Sunday night I gave Bob a call, and he wasn't very happy about it because he was like, I think it was 9 o'clock at night. And he's like, I just sat down for dinner and I'm about to watch the Cowboys. So call me at another time. And I was like, okay. So I think that's the last time we spoke, but very busy man. He runs, I guess, multiple businesses. He has a huge car collection and has a lot of connections. And of course, he runs SpaceCon, Superhero, Comic-Con. Awesome guest lineup, huge guest lineup. Marvel, DC, Battlestar Galactica, and of course Star Wars. He has Ian McDermott, Billy D. Williams, Sam Witwer, Natasha Liu Bordizzo, Ivana Sacno, Giancarlo Esposito. I'm probably missing a couple of people. But
Paul Bettany.
Yes, Paul Bettany. Yes. I think of him as more as Marvel, but
yeah,
he'll be there. Dryden Voss. So yeah, Ted relayed the information to us that yes, we will have a table at SpaceCon 2025. It's the weekend, like I said, before Halloween. There's going to be a little bit of a Halloween feel. It is a convention. It's like a Comic-Con, but it's SpaceCon in San Antonio, Texas. It's right in my backyard, 30 miles away from my house. It's right where the San Antonio Spurs play. It's at the Freeman Coliseum Expo Hall, or the Freeman Expo Halls, behind the Freeman Coliseum. That's where we saw Diego Luna speak at Superhero Comic-Con, and Ewan McGregor did a panel there too. And it's a weird setup when you have the panels out there because you have to walk outside, and if it's summertime, it's just scorching hot.
Brutal.
Almost melted Simu Liu. He made that comment. But in October, it's not as hot. And I think we're going to be actually right behind the seats at the main panel stage at our booth. You'll see us there, or you'll see me there. Craig, of course, has declined his invitation to come because he's going to be with his family.
Because Bob's not here with me right now. If Bob was here, just kidding, Bob.
James also.
But next year. Next year,
Everyone's saying next year. Yeah, next year. Well, next year it'll be in June. Yeah,
he moved it from.
You might see a melted Craig 5. So James won't be able to make it either. Colin won't be able to make it because Colin's done like 17 conventions in the past like 3 months. So it'll be just me. You might see a Patreon member or two with me at the booth occasionally. But we're doing the same thing. If you've been to the Star Stuff podcast booth, say hi. What should they say, James? Because a lot of the time
I have fallen asleep to you many a night.
Well, the code stories. I love those stories of listeners that will tell me they're at work or commuting, or saving a life. Craig, I've got that story before.
Whoa.
I told David that I would wear a Craig 5 shirt and a name tag to the convention because I didn't think anyone would ever say, "Hey, I know you."
Well, see, that's the thing we're getting lately. I'll be at the table and they won't say I listen to the podcast. They'll just say, "Can I have a sticker?" So our table's like littered with really cool Star Wars stickers. They're waterproof, weatherproof. They're free. You can take up to 3, I say, because sometimes people want to take like a handful, and it's like, yeah, don't do that. Because it's free. We need some for everyone here. And it's a 3-day convention. But then I'll go into saying we're the Star Wars Stuff podcast because the demeanor is they don't know who we are, and then I'll get the whole I listen to you. I know your podcast, and it's like, oh, fantastic. So If you're
That's what they
listening,
say.
if you go to
Oh,
SpaceCon, lead with
guys,
that.
we're
Say,
back
hey,
at-
I know who you are. Let me have a free sticker.
You guys are the guys with the guys that talking about stuff, right?
Yeah,
David
Star
was all
Wars.
excited. Yeah, that's us. You been listening?
That's amazing.
Yeah, I like you and I like the other guy, but the other guy not so much. He's a little weird. And then they're like, oh, he actually does listen to the show.
So we did get that. We got that at SpaceCon. And the person that they referenced that they thought was a little weird was not even on the show. So what does that tell you? But yeah, it's always a fun experience. Come up to the table, take a sticker or two. We also will have a prize wheel. You can spin that to win.
A night with David.
No, not that. But the
And a
people that are
prize
actually
or a
there,
punishment. I don't know.
yeah, like Ian McDermott's going to be there. So we have some Palpatine 3.5-inch figures. We have some Sabine figures. Natasha Liu-Bordizzo is going to be there. Also some of her Funko Pops and just like an assortment of things. So that'll be nice. Also, the big thing is we're doing raffles now. So I was trying to figure out what exactly we're going to raffle because that's at Rebel Scum Con. No, that's not happening. But at Rebel Scum Con, I had the San Diego Comic-Con Black Series Anakin versus Obi-Wan Mustafar action scene, which we raffled away.
Wow.
It was great. It was
an awesome prize.
So yeah, that a lot of people wanted that, and we raffled. We actually raffled 2 off
with David.
So yeah, we raffled 2 off, and one through Instagram and one through just being at the convention. So I was trying to think what's another thing people would want. This item is about 3 times the value as that Black Series, and I think a lot of people want this, and I think a lot of people have dreamed of having something like this in their home. And what it is, I'll put the picture up on the screen here. It is the 6-foot-tall animated stormtrooper that can go into Halloween mode and Christmas mode. Super cool. I've seen it in action. You can go to the Home Depot website, check it out. It's really cool. Speaks to you. The arms move. It's animatronic, of course. And we are going to raffle this bad boy away. We're going to set it up at the booth so everyone can see it, and it'll be interacting with people. And
beautiful.
That's what we're doing. So that's our announcement.
That's a very, very, very generous on our part. I would like to pat ourselves on the back. I mean, this is just incredible. What other podcasters are giving away free stuff? None of them. Don't look. Don't try and watch their shows to see.
Okay, well, it's not free, Craig. It's a raffle. So
that's kind of free.
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna walk away with something. Once you enter the raffle, you get a spin of the wheel. You get to take whatever is in my Star Wars crate there. And I mean, it could be a DK encyclopedia that's worth $25. There's rare Black Series in there that I haven't seen anywhere. Hallmark ornaments that can run kind of expensive. But yeah, you're gonna win if you sign up for the raffle. You're gonna win something Star Wars centric. So
you're gonna win David's love and undying affection.
I love all the listeners. So if you listen to the podcast, yeah, that's an automatic default love that I'll have for you. So that's one announcement. James, I think we have an announcement tease.
Yes.
If you listen this far in the podcast,
yes,
you're going to get rewarded right now.
Do you want to say it?
Craig, don't speak on this.
Don't say anything, Craig.
Because James and I...
That's what I hear every podcast. Don't say anything. Craig, don't say anything.
You got to be careful with this, Craig, because we are live.
But
James, I want you to say it, and Craig and myself will just listen. Look at Craig.
So we, the podcast, have an announcement to make. Jesus, you put me on the spot now. I don't know if I can say this now or how I'm going to say it. You want me to do it? I think you should be the one to say it.
Okay. All right. So we're giving everyone ample awareness.
Very ample awareness.
Yes. To what we're about to do. It's going to be a big change.
You're really hyping this up.
Well, we have because this is
Right.
it's a big change.
Right. It's a big change on the podcast part. We are going to change the name of the podcast.
Yes. You heard it here
I'm not doing
today. On September the 7th, 2025, we will be changing the name of our podcast.
I refuse.
So we want to give everybody and all our
Stand by
listeners
me on this, people.
plenty of time to know what's about to happen. The closer we get to the switch, of course we will announce the name of in the future, and we will make sure everybody knows the date of when it will be happening. But yes, we just want to let everybody know the podcast name will be changing.
So yes, it should be updating in all your podcast apps. It'll update on social media, on YouTube. We are still on the search to find a logo creator. So if you are a logo creator and want to maybe contribute to it, we need a logo still. But yeah, we're not going to make the official announcement to what the name of the podcast is going to be quite yet, because we're a little bit away
ANDOR,
from
the
changing.
podcast. And we're going to
So
lose in our
we don't want
category.
anyone to steal the name in between now and then,
Yes.
because it's a pretty decent name.
Yes.
And Colin, James, and myself, and maybe Craig are all in agreement that it works. We don't want to say it quite yet, but we're going to ramp things up, and you'll see the name of the podcast change in all your apps and socials and stuff. Don't be alarmed. Everything's going to stay pretty much the same. We want to do more work. We want to do more stuff for the podcast. And I think we feel this name change might help us and guide us in that direction.
Someone said only
You said I'm not allowed to say anything. So.
But
we'll bring Craig 5 along the way on this journey.
But yeah, just know, like, we've been talking about it already for a couple of weeks now. Feels like we've talked about it a long time. But yeah, we've reached the decision, and yeah, so this is.
I like this comment. Glorp.
Nice. But yeah, we want you to know, like, the format of the show is not going to change. The people on here are not going to change. Like, we're still just huge Star Wars fans who love talking about Star Wars and just enjoy it. And
are
so
we
none of that.
Rid of that stupid Max Rebo.
That might happen. I don't know.
I feel like that should be a part of this. Max Rebo's gone.
All right, so we'll talk about that. When we get to
Craig,
the logo.
what mascot do you put forth for the new podcast?
Oh.
Don't say the name of the potential.
Please don't say that.
Please don't say it, Craig.
I don't even remember the name of it.
Okay, good. We're gonna say that's good.
That's good or bad?
I'm just kidding. I know what the name of it is.
Okay, cool. This is cool that we know, but we're not telling. You know what I mean? We're not telling anybody, but we know what the name is gonna be. But anyways,
can we get to why we're changing the name of it? Not today.
Not today. We're just gotta let everybody know.
In a future podcast, we'll talk about the why.
Mm-hmm.
And
can we talk about whose idea it was to change it? Because that I'd really like to dive into.
No, we'll late. The closer we get to the announcement, we'll let everybody know why we are changing it. But we
know how like everybody like wants to know what happened behind the scenes of Rogue One.
This is our Rogue One story.
This is our Rogue One moment.
We're never gonna say.
I didn't sign an NDA.
So. No one's ever gonna know what really happened behind the scenes.
Oh, people are gonna know. The truth is coming out.
But before we go, Craig, what mascot would you want to see on the logo?
I don't know. I'd have to think about that, because we have to somehow tie it to the new name.
True, but then again, Max Rebo doesn't really tie. I mean, it's Star Wars stuff. We're able to get Max Rebo in there because of Star Wars. So in a way, I think it's fine.
I just thought of it, and it's gonna work, but it'll give it away.
Yeah, you can't. I think I know what you're gonna say, and the answer is no. You cannot say it right now.
Yeah, if I say it, people are gonna be like, "Oh, I kind of know what they're gonna do."
Countdown City. I think they're on to us, man. Abu Frick. Hey. hey. You know, before we go, one thing that makes me mad
That
about
actually
Babu
might
Frick,
work in a way.
and not really. It would just be a cool character. You know what I mean? Like it would just be something interesting to have.
And I think Countdown to the Geeks knows the name too. So don't say it.
Please don't
type
say it,
Countdown
Ted.
to the Geeks. Oh man.
But
The
one thing I will
irony
s-
is that both of you think people are listening right now. That's the
oh,
funny part
that's
of this
true.
whole-
Yeah,
See
no
how
one's
many
listening.
people are watching and listening right now, Craig, and it's more than you think.
Yes.
7.
Higher?
Actually, just went up 1. But no. Before we go, one thing about Babu Frick that always makes me mad is the hey bit during the battle is literally the shot from earlier in the movie, just like he's just superimposed there in the cockpit with what's her
Is that
name,
what they did?
because he's dead. And apparently Steven Spielberg was like, "Oh, I would have loved to have seen Babu Frick again." And
Oh, my
Abrams was
God.
like, "Oh, you're right." And so that's why he's in the cockpit with her at the very end.
You make it seem like they just like randomly did whatever and didn't really like put 100%.
You know,
effort.
Spielberg, I have to say, if you asked me a director that I would have loved to do a Star Wars movie back in the day is Spielberg. I'm not sure he would do one well today, but though I haven't really kept up with his movies like the ones in the past, but the old Spielberg, man, they would be great.
Well, he was George Lucas's first pick for Return of the Jedi. That's who he really wanted to direct, Return of the Jedi. Could you imagine that?
Mm.
How great that would have
I
been.
can imagine a lot.
Yeah, me too. Library Cat on X. First time watching you guys. I'm here right at the podcast name changing. I think everything will be twice as new for me. Well, thank you very much for joining us. And just so you know, you can go back and if you'd like, watch our other videos. Also subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
If
We're
you
just
start listening tonight, episode 1 of the podcast back in 2018,
18.
you can maybe catch up if you just never stop listening to the point where we change the name officially.
Yeah.
So you got homework, Library Cat.
But
They're
thank you so much for
they're already
joining.
tuned out. They're like, what?
They're like, who are you guys? I don't want to listen to you. No, they saw my my stuff back in the back and they're like, nope, I don't like this guy. But anyways,
I think that should be mandatory too. No Last Jedi merchandise.
no. But
There it is.
The one thing I'm really happy about that I
Pull
have
that
back
poster
here,
right off the wall.
the one thing I love is the Star Wars Pepsi episode 1 sign right there. That is one of my favorite things I have. I was so happy at Celebration somebody was
You're
selling
a Pepsi
that.
fan too.
Yeah, but come on, it takes you right back to episode 1. Like that was just so much fun.
So James, did you just drop an Easter egg for the name?
No, wait, did I?
Okay, I don't know.
Did I? All right, we're gonna just go here. Okay,
This is getting dangerous.
I don't see how that relates at all.
but now we're just having fun. Frances v. Britannia on YouTube says, "It's my first time watching. Thank you very much. And I will cry if The Last of Us 2 wins the Andor." Oh man, that's good.
Hey, people are really getting behind this category.
I'm gonna be so mad. Actually, I'm gonna be happy if this joke starts to go. Like if people start to do this joke now because of you, Craig. I want to be like, it was here first. Craig made the joke first. But on that amazing note, again, first time listeners, thank you so much for joining us. And like I like to tell people, we are Star Wars fans who love Star Wars. We love talking about it. We love nerding out about it. We're not those YouTubers or people who just want to, I don't know, some of those people out there who just want to cause division. That's not us. But yeah, David, take it away. I'm talking too much.
Yeah, so especially for all of our new listeners here, watchers, we're on Instagram at Star Wars Stuff Pod, but not for long. Twitter at Stuff Pod, not for long. Blue Sky, Star Wars Stuff, just search that up, but not for long. Thread, Star Wars Stuff Podcast, but
Not
again,
for
not for long. Patreon, exclusive content. There's a bunch of interviews Colin did that we're going to load up here pretty soon. Star Wars Stuff Podcast 2187. That name is probably going to change. So again, not for long. TikTok, Star Wars Stuff Podcast. Search us up. Subscribe before we make the name change.
Yes, please
Find
subscribe
us.
now before we make the switch.
It
Yes.
might get confusing. Email, I guess that's going to change too. Star Wars Stuff Podcast at gmail.com. Facebook, Star Wars Stuff Group, Star Wars Stuff page. All that's going to change. Write a review. Talk about how like friendly and approachable and knowledgeable we are about Star Wars and that stuff.
I loved listening to the Star Wars Stuff podcast before they changed their name. That's one of my new. I'm going to write a review that says that.
That's pretty. Library Cat. That's a pretty good one.
That's funny.
Pod me. That's pretty good.
That is fantastic. I love that suggestion. That'd be great.
But once again, everybody, thank you so much for listening, and we'll be back again soon with another great topic. And of course, we'll be announcing, in the future what the name of the podcast will be changing to. And of course, we're just going to keep letting everybody know that it will be happening soon. So, on behalf of Craig and David, my name is James, and may the force be with you.
Always.
This is the way.
I have spoken.
We have friends everywhere.
We have friends everywhere.
Let's make the jump.